We're back. So this is Naomi, for anyone who doesn't know. She's our sweet baby. And you'll see me bring her in to these videos and pictures, and that's because it's real life, and she really, hey mama, she really does come and do this work with me, and that's pretty fun. Yeah, but it reminds me a lot of the women that we are working with, that we're basically business partners with, because without the women around the world who are making the products, I don't have a job. And if I'm not going out and selling the products, they don't have a job. So it reminds me of all of the mamas that are making an income for their children and their families. There's a lot of vulnerable communities around the world. Poverty affects a lot of areas of life, making a lot of things unstable for families and households, and just creating jobs in these communities around the world. When I say vulnerable community, it's an overarching statement because it just covers a lot of ground. Basically, people who can't make ends meet for a long time, maybe their whole life, and the way that affects their life and the other people around them, including their kids. And actually our first artisan business partners were Jalia and her husband, and they still run a business and hire artisans in Uganda and make our pieces from there. And Jalia was sharing her story at the annual Noonday Ambassador Conference recently, and she was sharing how when she was my age, married and had kids, her main goal in life, her main dream in life was not to die young, just to be able to be around for her kids. That is not my only dream, and it's not my only goal, and that is because I live in a life of great privilege, and I have always believed that it's my job to steward the privilege that I have. And once again, I really believe that people do the best that they know to do. And so many people don't know that you can make a difference around the world for people just like you and me, who have families and kids, and they want to be there for their kids, and not just be there for them, but like thrive with them and for them, and not have to give them up in order for their children to thrive, and not have to do something like slave labor, which is a reality. Not have to do intense manual labor and get paid very poorly for it, which is a reality. Not have to beg, that's a reality. Not have to, like I said, give their kids up, which is a reality. Not have to watch their children starve to death. That is a reality in our world. I breastfeed Naomi, and I was nursing her when she was first born, and she was cluster feeding, and I was a new mom, and I didn't know what to expect, but we were feeding a lot, and she was losing weight. And I didn't understand until we went in for a checkup and found out that my milk was not there. And she had basically been pacifying herself by sucking on me in hopes of getting more milk, that she was actually starving on me. And that was like the scariest and saddest thing that I've experienced. It was very emotional, and I just can't imagine. Now, it was my own fault. I wasn't eating or drinking enough because I was home exhausted and taking care of a newborn, and it was like all I could do to take care of her and then fall back asleep, basically. So we got it taken care of. I was surrounded by people who loved on me and helped. That was when Luke started reminding me daily whenever he saw me to drink water, and he still does. But anyways, she is healthy and thriving, and that is beautiful. It was a very short stint. And what are you doing? Yeah, but I can't imagine having children and they're asking you for food and you don't have any to give them, and you don't know how you're going to have any to give them. And if you do have some to give them, you probably don't have enough for yourself. And like, these just aren't realities that I'm facing. Even Luke and I have been going to a food pantry, and that isn't something I'm embarrassed about. That's a season in our life. But even the fact that I'm privileged enough to know that we're going through bumpy seasons right now as a young married couple with a family, and that we aren't going to have to rely on a food pantry for our whole life. If we do right now, I'm not embarrassed by that. But again, even that is privilege. Like, the fact that we have that help right now is amazing. There are communities around the world who are going through far harder, far longer seasons of lack than this. And to the point where there are men and women who just are trying to stick around long enough to see their kids grow up. So anyways, all that to say, I do believe that creating jobs is important, and I believe that when we know about poverty in the world, and it breaks our hearts because we realize that the people around the world are just like us, and that it's purely the grace of God that we live the privileged life here, and that they're over there. That we are moved and we don't have a choice. To be compelled means to not have a choice. To be so moved that you literally are like, I can't not do anything. If we can turn a blind eye to people who are in need, then we need to check ourselves. So I have the joy and privilege of being at home with Naomi and helping take care of her and raise her. And that's something I've looked forward to all my life. I look forward to teaching her and showing her how we take care of other people like we take care of ourselves. And Noonday is one of the ways that I'm practically going to be able to do that. There's a lot of other ways too. But it's not just purchasing the products. Like, the way that Noonday functions right now is that we have these products that are handmade, and selling them is one of the ways that we're creating sustainable jobs for people around the world, and that's amazing. But it is a nice reminder to us of how privileged we are, because Noonday isn't the only place you can get jewelry in the world, and jewelry is not a necessity to life. It's a privilege that we get not only to pick whatever we're inclined to wear, but also that even if our belts are tight and our budgets are tight, that we still have somehow enough to get things for ourselves or get gifts for other people. So something that Luke and I both are very intentional about doing is just being specific about where we shop and how we shop and what we get and what it's supporting. It's just important, and it's so simple, and we're spending the money anyways. Like, I can't explain to you what it's like to be face to face with somebody overseas who is in poverty and they just need a job. And when you're there and you're relating and compassion is welled up in your heart and you come home, you're like, I'm going to tell everyone and we're going to do something because we can, because we have the ability, and we're going to take care of that person. Well, there's millions of people like that person all over the world, and then we get bogged down and overwhelmed and we're like, oh my goodness, okay, well, I'm already sponsoring a child, or I give to this ministry, or I went on this missions trip and I helped, and all of those things matter. They matter. But this is sustainable. This is long term. This is like their life is flipped around and they're no longer in lack. They're moving forward in life, and they don't have to worry about how they're going to feed their kids. So that's a starting spot. And as we multiply the impact. So I'm not saying go buy $1,000 worth of jewelry. That's not practical. I'm just saying when you think about buying jewelry, think about who it is benefiting. Is it benefiting a big company who probably is getting their stuff sourced very cheaply, if not fair to the people that are making it? Or is it being made by people who are getting paid a living wage for their work? It's just something to consider and to realize, be remembrant of the fact that you have the privilege of considering and the privilege of choosing and the privilege of spending on things that you want, not just on things that you need. I am reminded daily of this, and I could put Naomi in daycare or something like that and go get a job. My dad knows that I have loved doing business and very entrepreneurially minded like he is, and like our artisan business partners are. And I'm not above working. I believe that it's the right thing to do to stay home with Naomi and to be the one to take care of her. I also believe it's the right thing to do to use my time here while I'm taking care of her to help create awareness on these issues and awareness of solutions that are long-term. And just it's my joy to be an advocate, and I'm not interested in backing anybody into a corner. I'm just interested in being a voice. In our day and age, we actually don't just get things from celebrities anymore, or from government leaders, or local leaders, we get to influence each other, and maybe more than ever in the world. That's true. So I get to be an influencer and a pace setter and make an impact just by sharing my opinion and sharing what I'm doing and how I do it. And I wanted to join Noonday. I wanted to buy Noonday. I don't know why it never even crossed my mind to host a party. I guess I didn't know about an ambassador near me. But that shouldn't stop anybody. Just by opening up your doors and inviting people to come hear about what Noonday is doing around the world, to share that with the people in your circles, that changes the world. It really does. Until Noonday is a worldwide household name, along with any other legitimate fair trade company that is helping people rise out of poverty, we have more work to do. So yeah, where you shop and what you wear and how you share and when and with who, all of that matters. And I'm really glad that you guys care. I know you care. Got big hearts, and don't get tired of doing good. We don't need to grow weary in this, just like we don't need to grow weary in motherhood or in being a sister, being a friend, in doing our jobs well wherever we're working. And if you're interested in doing this job as a second job, as a third job, as one job, there isn't any pressure to sell a certain amount. I haven't sold a lot of Noonday products. I've made my investment back, and that was pretty much my main goal in getting into it. Everything beyond that is frosting. And yeah, I just believe that there's a lot of impact to be made just by opening my mouth, opening my doors, stepping out of my comfort zone and connecting with people and just sharing as I have the opportunity to. So you can make that opportunity in your life, in your circles, in your community, in your business, in your office, in your home. You can tell your kids, like it's just a conversation worth having. And so thanks for entering into it with me. Great. Yeah, let me know, please. I love questions. I really do. I'm happy to just open up and talk and process. And thank you for wanting to hear. But really, I'm very open to questions. That's how we learn. All right, we'll see you guys.